How did all this begin? Wanda Kaczynski told Leslie Stahl and me that Ted's problems could have begun way back in 1942, soon after he was born.
I used to pick him up out of the crib, and he would be bouncing around, and he would nuzzle his head in my neck and chortle and gurgle and pull my hair, and he was a bundle of joy.
But when Ted was 9 months old, he suffered a painful and dangerous case of hives. He was hospitalized for a week.
In those days, they did not allow you to stay with the child. I would remember how he'd grab the bars of the crib in this hospital, and he'd scream and hold out his arms, and I'd have to go out the door. When I finally came back to take him home, what they handed to me was not this bouncing, joyous baby, but a little rag doll that didn't look at me, that was slumped over, was completely limp.
Do you see anything that you or your wife at the time could have done to prevent this?
Well, there was a lot going on. There was a lot of mental, my former wife had a lot of mental and physical problems. And we were so occupied with those problems that it was difficult to concentrate on anything else.
Or to see that your child was becoming increasingly lost?
Increasingly shy, that's all that we saw.
And so is this a photo of your mother and father?
Yes, it is. That's at our home in San Diego before we moved to Prairie Dog, so that's just maybe a few weeks after he was born.
Was your mother really involved with your kids as they were growing up?
She was. She didn't live in San Diego. She lived about 150 miles away in LA, in the house that we grew up in. But she was pretty healthy until she got cancer. And so she would drive down and spend time with the kids.
Would the kids go visit her in the summer?
Yes, I would take them up and actually leave them with her for several days.
And talk about this in some objective way with some kind of distance. So I'm going to pull this over a little bit and talk about my son's death as a murder-suicide. At the time that this happened, I had no knowledge about suicide at all, and about the frequency of murder-suicides and what it does to the family members of the perpetrator. I was incredibly confused. But in addition to your grief and loss to your loved one who has taken his own life, he's taken the lives of other people. With that comes an incredible, helpless agony that you can't give these people back. You can't do anything to.
Against all of you.
This chilling video shows Elliot Rodger, the 22-year-old Santa Barbara college student who police say killed 6 and injured 13 in Friday's mass shooting and stabbing spree. This day of retribution, a plan Rodger outlined in a 137-page manifesto obtained by CNN affiliate KEYT. Rodger wrote, "All of those beautiful girls I've desired so much in my life, but can never have because they despise and loathe me, I will destroy." A family friend, Simon Astaire, says Rodger sent his diatribe called My Twisted World to a couple dozen people, including his mother and father. Not
In the days leading up to this incident,
What did you notice about Connor? Was he struggling?
Yes, he called me on the Tuesday before the event, and he said, well, I had a panic attack yesterday and I had to leave work. And I said, okay, well, what happened? What was the cause? I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I think I should take off a while. And I said, that's fine. You know, we're here to help you.
Did you worry he was suicidal?
That's also inconceivable to me. He was willing to talk to me. He had told us before he would never do such a thing like that.
So, what can we learn from these findings? 1. A child learns anxiety-free social and intimate interaction, usually from the mother as a primary caregiver through their steady and consistent presence, by establishing a secure attachment with them. 2. Most insidious silent traumas leading to suicides or mass murders may be from emotional abandonment experienced in childhood that is hard to detect. 3. Vengefulness with a hidden early onset suicidal or homicidal urge is often the product of feelings of betrayal from physical or emotional abandonment in childhood, which is later introjected toward self-destruction, or projected onto society or others, through rationalization for retribution as being unjust or cruel. 4. Attachment failure with their mother as the primary caregiver set an unstable foundation for their future anxiety-free, intimate relationships. 5. One-day absence of a primary caregiver can be felt as the eternity for an infant who does not have a time concept. 6. If relatives want to participate as caregivers, they should be additional ones, not in substitution for the mother as the primary caregiver. The infant needs to establish a secure attachment with the mother, unless others take over the mother's role, without inducing abandonment trauma through their inconsistent presence, interruptions, or sudden disappearances. 7. Neuroscientists believe that there will be a structural alteration in the brain due to the stress given by the traumas, that will continue to affect the child's emotional and cognitive development, from the point of impact, through the arrestment or skewed advancement. 8. The difference in trauma's impact on the brain at infancy may not be ample, however, as the child grows, the gap will widen, to peak in adolescence, unless there is a remedial or neutralizing emotional reinforcement by the environment. 9. The survivors with a more significant gap between their level of intelligence, or IQ, and emotional intelligence, or EQ, may feel more despair, due to the broader gap between reality and their expectation about themselves. 10. Many mental health workers are also unaware of the detrimental effects of silent trauma. Then, what can we do to prevent the mass murders? We will look for the answer in the next video.